What's happening, everybody? November 12th, I think. Is that right? November 12th, right? Oh, fuck. Where does it go? Where does the time go? This is one of my only in Los Angeles stories that hopefully you'll enjoy. This happened on Wednesday. So this past Wednesday, I went to go see the movie Due Date at the local Cinemaplex in Westlake Village. One of the things you have to know about me is that I don't like large groups of people. I don't like seeing crowded movie theaters. I don't like concerts. I don't know. I'm fucked. I don't know. Everyone's got their thing. I've got a bunch of things, but one of my things to do, and I don't even really like movies that much, but I like Zach Galifianakis, and I wanted to see Todd Phillips. I wanted to go see this movie, so fine. So I like to go see movies at like noon or early in the day, and I won't go the first week. The movie had already been out for a week. I figured who's going to be there Wednesday, 2 o'clock. So I get to the theater, and I go in, and I go to the concession counter. And this is funny. I feel like if you're working in a movie theater, okay, and working in a movie theater is really very degrading. It is. Like, you've got to wear a clip-on bow tie. You have to say, welcome to the show, and just kiss people's asses weirdly and pick up people's trash and shit. I don't know. It's a shitty job. And if you're over the age of 26 and you're doing it, your life has not gone the way that you certainly hoped it would. And so, and I don't mean to be condescending or a jerk or whatever, but like, I don't know. It just... You know, you can't, what do you make, $10 an hour, $8, $12, maybe 13 if you've been there for a while. But so I go to the counter, and I like those Starbucks Frappuccino things, you know. So I said to the guy, I said, you know, can I get Starbucks Frappuccino? And this dude was like, he was my age, which, you know, if you look at my resume, I'm 29, but no, I'm 37. But the guy looked my age, and he had like a tribal tattoo coming up, you know, up his creeping up past his horrible, like, you know, stained fucking white shirt. And the guy takes the Frappuccino thing out, and he, like, shakes it. He goes, and he puts it down, he cracks it open, and he puts it in a plastic cup with a lid and a straw, and he hands it to me. And I said to him, hey, couldn't I just have the bottle? And he goes, no glass in the theater. You know, he was annoyed, because I think I should have been like, wow, thank you for shaking them. Because it's true, if you don't shake those things, all that chocolate or caramel or whatever the fuck, it settles in the bottom. So thank you. I didn't mean to insult, if you're guy from the theater, if you're watching this, who I just called a complete loser for having the job, so I apologize, but thank you for shaking up my thing. So, okay, whatever. Go into the theater. I always like to sit in the middle of the theater, but I like the aisle. So middle aisle. You get it? So I'm there, right? I'm sitting there. I'm reading this new book about late night television with Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien and everything. It's called The War for Late Night. Fucking great book. I'm reading that on my iPhone, you know, sitting there, and all of a sudden, and there's probably 3 or 4 people in the theater. I should mention that. Like, maybe 3 or 4. So it's dead. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I notice, like a and I noticed, and I'm exaggerating, but like a decrease in oxygen. Like, some of the air, it was like we had just gone up 4,000 feet. Or like, I just saw the movie in Denver. So I turned to my right, and I see 2 television production people. And why do I know they're television production people? Because I have worked in TV, you know, once or twice in my fucking rocket ship of a career. But like, people that do like grips and you know, guys that work in television, they're maybe film, they all look the same. They have like, not all look the same, but they have like big, you know, hoop earrings or tattoos, and they're dirty, and they have weird facial hair and shit. You know, these guys come, and behind the 2 of them, they have earpieces in, a microphone, or not microphones, but walkie-talkies and shit. And these 2 guys come in, and behind them, okay, and I'm not exaggerating. Now, this is it, is a mass of humanity. What I mean is like faces and fat and shirts and no buttons. The TV show The Biggest Loser films at a hotel by my house. And apparently what had happened is this particular day, the production company or whomever had taken and like done like a day excursion. It wasn't being filmed, but it was like a way to take all of these very, very, very fat people out to see a movie. So I turn around and I see, and it had to be 18 of them, maybe 20, and 20, and they literally had to weigh, I don't know, 500, 600, 700 pounds. I don't know. They were fucking huge. And I'm not judging. Look, I could lose 25 pounds. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe 18. But who fucking cares? But like, these people were so big that I you just noticed it. They were professionally fat, right? So they come down the theater and it's like boom, 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 and they come down and they don't sit in my aisle, they don't sit in front of me, but they sit immediately behind me. So they sit right behind me and they're moving this shit and they all sit down and they sat down and it was like goosh. And they had, I remember them joking because they brought their own low-fat popcorn and shit. They had smuggled in their own shit. Because I think when you're that fat, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want, and no one's going to, like, look in your bag or something. People are just, like, freaked out. So they all sit down, and they were right behind me. And this is where it gets kind of interesting because I get anxiety. I should probably take medication for it, but I just drink red wine. Ah, so good. But I thought to myself, I almost got up and left. Because I've walked out of movies before. I've walked out of lots of movies. Especially if I'm by myself. I'll walk out. Because I get bored and I'm just like, fuck it. I want to do something else. So, like I walked out of Get Me to the Greek. Get Him to the Greek. I hated that movie. So I thought to myself, I need to leave. Because I was worried the entire movie, I would be like, my mind would be fixated on these big fat people. And I wouldn't be able to like enjoy this film or not enjoy it. Or I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. I liked it. It wasn't great, but I liked the movie. But my politeness, okay, my good breeding, like won out. Because I didn't want these big fat people to feel like I left the movie because they were fat. So I stayed, and they loved the movie, and I actually got into it because they were laughing so hard. It was kind of nice. It was like having a very crowded movie theater, but with only having like 20 people. Like they were so fat that it felt like the whole theater was full, but there were really only 20 people. So it was nice. And I felt very thin. I was like, wow, I should carry one of these people around with me when I go to, when I'm out in the town. They'd be like, who's that swimsuit model out with that very big fat guy? So there you go. The cast of The Biggest Loser. I liked Due Date, and I apologize once again to the gentleman that worked at the Westlake Village Man's Theater. I didn't mean to disparage your technique, which was actually good for you for giving a shit, for shaking up my thing. I mean, it was nice of you. All right? Everybody have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.